Blended in black, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're blended in black. We're blended in black, yeah. And this who we choose to be.
Hey everybody, what's up, Blended in Black? This is Naja Hall. Once again, we're here with another episode. Now, for today's episode, I have one of the ladies of Blended in Black. She's a group member. Her name is Sassi. And we were having a conversation in the group maybe last week or so, and we were talking about the ramifications of online harassment and how that could really get you in trouble. And people were telling these outlandish stories and mentioning all these what ifs. And then Sassy comes on the post and she's like, "Hey, look, y'all, I've actually lived this. I have experienced or been involved in online harassment, and these are the repercussions." Sassy, so is it true
Yes,
that you were almost or were arrested for online harassment?
yes, I was arrested. I went to
Oh.
jail. Yes, for online harassment.
See, it's not funny. So to give us a little
No,
bit of backstory, how in the world did you get yourself in this pickle?
I was in a really nasty separation with my now ex-husband. Um, we were supposed to be working out our marriage, and actually had gone to counseling like a month or so before this incident happened. And he told me that there was no one else, and that he just needed time to himself. And it was a couple of weeks later that I found out he was actually dating someone else.
Mm.
And we had already been through this before. And so the
And how
first
many
time I was
times had
more
you
hurt.
gone through it?
This was our second separation.
Okay.
And the first time I just had my oldest son. So the second time I went through this, I was actually pregnant with my baby boy.
Oh,
And so I was more angry this time around.
right. So what made
And
you, after
so
that first separation, what made you even go back and give it another try?
because I really was believing in God for my marriage. I really wanted Him to fix it. And so when we got back together, I thought it was the right thing to do.
Mhm.
Now looking at things in hindsight, that was probably my way out.
Mhm. Uh-huh. Right.
Yes,
It
and
was,
so,
people, you guys that are listening, a lot of times will look into these relationships and we'll give people these second and third chances. And, if you had just left that first time, like Sassy just said, it was your way out. So there are some of you that might be
mhm.
considering going back. You realize if you're going back to the same thing that you were before, try to find the strength to run the other way. Right, Sassy?
That's right.
So,
Run as you can.
now, how long were you married to him?
We were married a total of 10 years. At the time of the first separation, we was married around 6. We separated for a whole year,
Hmm.
and then we got back together, and that's when I got pregnant with my baby son.
Now let me ask you this. So
And
after this year
yes,
of this man being out in the streets and you
mhm,
living your life as well, I don't know if you lived your life as a single woman. Well, did you?
I did. I
Okay.
did.
So after a
I lived my
year,
life as a single woman too.
uh-huh.
I would say I lived my life as a single woman at home, actually like praying for my husband to come back home. And my prayer was at that time was, God, I don't care what he does, I just want you to fix it.
Mm.
And then so at that time, God was dealing with me with things about myself. But during that time, I didn't want to hear about that. I wanted him to fix what I was going through, and even though he was telling me things about myself, I
Right.
just wanted him to fix that because I wanted my marriage.
Ooh.
And yes, it
Wait.
was an awful time in my life.
So why didn't you listen to God's word? Why did you not just say, "Let me fix myself" instead of fixing this marriage? Because obviously two of those were broken things, you and the marriage. So why didn't you just
I
listen?
guess I guess because at that time that was like the hardest trial that I ever experienced in my life. And I just thought so much of this man. I kind of thought at that time that he like completed me, and I thought I couldn't go on without him. And so, regardless of whatever the word that was coming to me, well, I don't want to deal with you about that. I'm gonna deal with that part over there. But right now, I want to deal with you with broke. I want to deal with you because you were broken and things in childhood and everything.
Mhm.
But when you're going through things, I didn't want to deal with that. I just wanted him to fix the hurt that I was dealing with then.
Right, right. That
And what
temporary
God was
hurt.
trying to, right, and he wanted to fix ongoing hurt I didn't have for 30 plus years of my life.
Ooh
And
wee.
so I didn't want to. I just didn't see. Now when I got out of it, I saw the bigger picture. But at that time, we only see things that we normally in at that time. I did not see the bigger picture then.
This is so true. And I bet looking at the woman that you were then, I bet you never would have thought that you would be who you are now. And look at you living. You know, you thought you couldn't go on with him without him, but look at you living and thriving.
You
So,
know, even when I was going through that trial,
mhm.
I thought I was never gonna get out of it. It was like one of those things that was so hard. I never have experienced hurt like that before in my life. I mean, actually walking around, actually having chest pain. I was
Oh,
devastated. Everything like happened to me out the blue.
right.
And so I was devastated. So I was like, God, you know, when are you going to heal? It was something I never thought that I will come out of. And so now that my baby boy is turning 4, actually next month, and so on the anniversary of when his birthday comes, I was like, oh my God, I can remember when, 4 years ago, that was the hardest time of my life. And look where I'm at now. Like, God, you really brought me out.
He brought you
And
all the way
so,
out
that's
and
it.
through as an example. And I'm sure there's somebody that's listening that's sitting there in pain right now that is you where you were 4 years ago.
Yes,
Okay, so let's
yes.
get back on task. You know, I always like to know the
Mm-hmm.
backstory of how you got what happened. So you got separated. You got
Yes.
back together, reconciled to get pregnant, but you separated again before the baby was born, right?
When I went back the second time, because he was not ready to come back, because God was not finished doing what he was doing with him, just wasn't time. And it was me more. I've learned that if you're going to let God do it, let him do it. But it was me trying to fix things. And so when I was trying to fix things, everything was the wrong timing.
Mhm.
So we didn't even make it through the pregnancy. I probably like 6 or 7 months to the pregnancy, things got awful at home. The fights and the arguing, and it had just got awful.
Now, was it just you being a
It,
hormonal pregnant woman and you're angry, you're hot all the time, you want ice cream, or was this really like him having other relationships during the pregnancy?
This was like, the time. So when he left home the first time, he came back with anything. Didn't come back with a car. Didn't come back with, just when I lost his car and everything. So
Wow.
when he came back home, yes. So when he came back home, he didn't have a car, and so I would actually have his mother drop me off at work. He'll take my car, go back and forth to work. And at that time, it was later on that I found out he was having an affair and going to see women in my car. Or I would
Oh.
get in the car and he would have the wedding band sitting on the dashboard where he forgot to put it back on. Um, he had started to drink at that time. It was just an awful situation.
Okay.
It was awful. It was awful.
So the world had a strong hold on him, much stronger than his
Yeah,
marriage did. So you all,
right.
so after the baby was born, like was he pregnant? Well, I'm sorry, was he present for the delivery, or did you just do that without him and he never came back home?
He was actually there at the hospital. He was there for the birth of the child. But from the day I left the hospital, we didn't see each other for like 6 months or so.
Really?
Yes, the day that my wheelchair rolled out the hospital, I cried and I cried and I cried. And my mother at the time, she was like, what's wrong? Because I knew at that time that I was going to have to do it by myself. Things were just ugly the way what they were. And we got
Yeah.
home from the hospital, and I was like, I'm so tired. But he said, I didn't tell you I was going to stay here to help you with this baby.
Oh.
And, we had this we had this big old argument, and the police got called, and then he was advised to stay away from me. And that's what just happened. And so we stayed apart for it was like 6 or 7 months until I actually saw him again with the newborn. And so we were getting evicted from the apartment, so I had to pack up 3 days post-delivery, had
Mhm.
friends over to come help me pack and everything. It was a very emotionally taxing time for me. And I
Whew.
won't say that he did everything. It's
Mhm.
because that I was hurt too, and I would do vindictive things.
Mhm.
And so it's just like, one of those things where one thing led to another.
Okay. Well, at least you can take some responsibility. So
Oh, yes, I was, yes.
So at this point, you are moved into a new place because you had lost the home, and you had an
Hmm.
infant, a 6 month, 7 month old, and you had your older
I have a
child,
3-year-old.
okay,
Yes.
3 year old. Oh my gosh! So you had
Yes,
two
yes,
very small children. You
yes.
moved out, and then did you all try to reconcile again after that?
It was so the first time, I was praying to God, oh God, I want you to fix it. That's my husband, and I went through the Bible and found every scripture on divorce, and
Oh yeah.
you say, all kind of stuff. I want to do that because that's something I did not want.
Mhm.
That was the first time. So the second time, I had all, I was hormonal. I was, I was hurt. I was some everything. So I was like mad as hell the second time.
Right.
And so the second time I wanted to be vindictive, and I wanted to make him feel the way that he made me feel. And so I did some not so nice things after that. And when I was looking at the post the other day, I was like, I spent so much time, being angry and going after him, and I realized that wasn't my job to do all the time.
Right.
And I just done been there, and I'm like, I don't never want to go through it again. And I can own up to stupid stuff that I did. Some of I look back now, I'm like, girl, I can't believe you act crazy and so stupid. But, I did it. I did it, and I can own up to it. And I see people now like, man, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go through that. I could write a book to tell you what not to do.
Right.
I have a book of knots, and so it was just awful because those actions that I did then affected our relationship we have now. And we have small kids.
You have small kids.
And so,
yeah.
Right.
So how in the world did we go from, okay, you're getting evicted, you're realizing the marriage is over, you're doing it by yourself, to you're behind bars? How what's the transition? Help pull that story together for us.
Well, yes. And so what happened that I actually want to stay with some friends. I was here and there, until I was able to get back up my feet financially or whatever, get back up my own. And so when I found out, I think I probably hacked his cell phone password or something. It was something real crazy. And I heard this girl on a voicemail. And she said to my, hey, baby, or whatever, but I'm going to go back. Like the week before that, we had counseling with my pastor and his wife at church. And we were sitting there, and he was telling me, that it wasn't me. He needed time to himself, and basically he wasn't seeing anyone else, And I think at that time, even though I had been through so much, I was still like kind of hopeful, and I still wanted my marriage, even though that everything had went away.
Even though
I still wanted to work it out.
So even though you'd had
right, and I don't
by
know.
yourself, he moved out, left you guys for 7 months, you still would have worked it out. How did you convince him to go to counseling after the big gap in the absence?
See, I think that it was probably a mind game with him too. I have no idea, but we ended up there in this counseling session, and after the counseling session, Pastor White said, I think you need to leave this guy alone because as a feeling right now, his truth's not with it. Basically, it's how it went or whatever. Like I think you need to leave it alone. And, you don't know why God is taking you through the things that you are, but I think you need to, leave it alone for a minute. And, that's how I went in. So it was after that I found out that it really was. So I feel like, he went to counseling I feel like it was like manipulation or a mind game thing because he didn't have any intent to making things right with me.
So was he trying to buy time or I guess I'm not
I don't know.
Why in the world would you go to counseling if you know you're out of it, if you know you are not mentally coming back to this marriage? But that's a question I guess that we might never have the answer to.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you heard the lady on his voicemail.
Right, and so of course I did my little Inspector Gadget,
Wait,
my little Inspector Gadget thing or whatever.
Now you had access, I guess, to his passcode, or the phone was with you.
Yes. Okay. Well, he had his phone. I just had access to the voicemail. We were married for 10 years, and so everything about him I knew about him,
Right.
Social Security number to whatever, So I just knew I always knew what it was. I just always knew what it was, and so
right. Makes sense.
I called and heard the girl or whatever, and I put the number or whatever it was on Facebook, and her face popped up, and and then so I gave her a couple of phone calls to let her know that you know he's married. Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, do you know he's married? Did he tell you he's married? Did he tell you he got a kid? I was just angry. And to this day, I don't know why I went after her because, my agreement was not with her. It was with him. So I went after her because I was angry.
Do you think you went after this woman because she was the face of your pain? And why let's dig deeper into that, because we see a lot of women going after the other woman. But the other woman didn't take vows with you. It was him.
No, she didn't. But I just felt like even though we were separated, I don't know. I just felt like, he was married. Now I know it's kind of stupid or whatever. I just, and then too, it was vindictive to get back at him. So,
right.
I'm going to try to mess up what you got going on over there with her because you're not here with me. And so I'm going to try to make your life, I'm going to try to make your life miserable as hell, basically, That's basically that's I'm being honest. Women do that kind of stuff, and so
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm just saying. I just wanted to make his life miserable. I was hurt. I was doing this alone, and we weren't getting along, and I was being treated for postpartum depression and staying with a friend, and lost things, and so I was just angry.
And I was going to ask you about that because that's something that is often ignored with women because it's like, oh, okay, you just had a baby, you got to move out of you're getting evicted from your apartment, your marriage is falling apart. I was going to say, like, what about postpartum? Because that's something that people don't really take serious enough until something happens. Someone ends up hurt.
It is a true thing, and it was very hard. And I'm going to tell you how hard it was. When I went in for my last just being stressed throughout the last month of my pregnancy. When I went in for my last doctor's appointment, I lost 15 pounds that week. 15 pounds that week while I was pregnant.
And
I'll never forget my
15 pounds in your
I lost 15 pounds. From 15 pounds from 1 week to the next. From 1 week to the next.
You were stressed.
I was stressed. I had lost 15 pounds. And my doctor
God.
said, "What are you doing? You cannot do this."
Whatever.
And so it was a very It was awful. In the last trimester.
Oh my God. Okay.
Right.
So
I went to the doctor. I was 15. I went in labor that day. On my last appointment.
Oh, you actually okay? So you left the doctor and then ended up going to
labor. I went in labor. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Was the baby born premature?
He was actually term.
Okay.
He was term.
Okay, so, we're back to why do women go after one another? And y'all see Blended in Black listeners, y'all should know by now. We just get into all these side conversations, so you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
So, we're like, why do women go after one another? And you gave some good explanations. You're like, look, I wanted to make his life a living hell, and why does he get to have a relationship and I'm here with these kids? Or why does he get to move on? And then I want to ruin this relationship. And then you were
I was like, yes, I was angry, and I was like, and to me, it looked as if he was out there just enjoying life, honey girl. He was living it out at the clubs and all kind of stuff. And I'm at home, miserable, heartbroken, got these babies. So it was like, no, you ain't gonna do all that. You're not gonna have fun. No,
you're like, I'm home with these kids. You out here partying and living it up, like living life like it's golden.
Right.
Now we're both about to be miserable.
Absolutely correct.
Right.
Absolutely correct.
So when you called her, you found her on Facebook, and then, of course, you had her number anyway. You found her on Facebook because y'all know we all do it. You had to go see what she looked like. Was she cute, girl? Was she cute?
She was cute.
Oh, no, she was cute.
Dang. She was cute. It's fine. She was cute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, I hate that. Okay. So you called her, and she answered, and you're like, look, do you know that this man is married? What did he tell you?
Right.
What did she say?
Well, don't call my phone. That's between you and him, and, I ain't got nothing to do with that or whatever. So she wouldn't talk to me. She didn't have anything, to say to me. And so it was like, I was so just dumb, I'm thinking like, why did I go? So I was like, make her talk. You gonna talk to me? And I call her phone numerous times and just all kind of crazy stuff. And so then we would get to argue, me and him. It was just like, and I now today, I will never again do that. But I went after her, honey, and to the point that I was sitting at home, and this how the rest came about. I was sitting at home, and I was just mad, and I think me and him just got into it. He cursed me out real bad. And I can remember I was sitting in the closet crying, sang some real hand about the cradle stuff, right? But I was sitting in the closet crying.
No, you sassy.
And I was
you was on some hand about the cradle.
Yes, I'm talking about going through all this or whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna get them. And so I went and I screenshot this girl picture from Facebook.
Uh-oh, here you go.
I screenshot her picture, and I went to Craigslist, and there's like a little site here where people sell things.
No, everybody knows Craigslist. That's nationwide.
Craigslist, yes.
Yeah.
Nationwide, yes. And so I took this girl. They had like this mistress site or something. I don't know what it was. So I took this girl picture, and I put it on there and said, I love married men. And I put her phone number on there.
Oh, what?
And so it was crazy, right? And I don't even know how what to make my mind but I was just mad.
God.
And,
so you took her picture and said, I love married men. Wait a minute. Well, how did they know that it was you? Like, how did your
Okay,
husband and she know?
hold on. Right, this where dumb and crazy come in, right? So we arguing or whatever. So she had all these like numerous people, calling her phone or whatever, And then it was after
she
that.
was actually getting phone calls from this Craigslist.
She was getting phone calls.
Oh my God.
This was Thanksgiving of 2013.
Yeah.
Day before Thanksgiving. I'll never forget. And all these men were like calling her phone.
And they're like, we responded to your
Craigslist whatever. And whatever. And my dumb crazy stuff or whatever. I think me and him had words where I said, that's why I did so and so. So like a dumb note that I was mad or whatever. I did not crazy. That. I did.
I did. You were losing your cool. But when you're angry though, you can always be red and you can't really
One thing that I know that hurt people, right. And I was at that point that anybody came in my path, me and my ex-mother-in-law, we had an awesome relationship. And it's to the point that everybody in my path I had conflict with. I cussed her out, cussed my sister-in-law out, fell out with my family, I just, I was like a ticking time bomb, honey. Like anybody and anything in my way, honey, I was destruction, honey.
Right.
Like Hurricane Katrina coming through something. It was awful.
You was hurricane, because you were like a tornado. You just anybody.
I was like a tornado.
Especially probably people that represented him and people from his side of the family.
Right. I was in 100% self-destruct mode. Right. It was awful.
So were you able were you able to repair the relationships with your ex-mother-in-law and your ex-sister-in-law?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we get along great now. And I traded, and I told her when we reconciled this last time, we sat down and had a long talk. And I was like, I will never let anything, because their relationship alone ended with my marriage. It damaged so much.
Yeah.
It damaged a lot of things, and I made a vow that, because I have kids, and I know she loves her grandkids.
Right.
And I was like, I will never let anything like that again come between what we have, because she didn't have anything to do with what her son was doing or what I was going through.
Right.
But she just happened to be the person that was in my path.
Uh-huh. Right.
And that. And we was able to sit down and have a heart to heart. Even with my sister-in-law was able to sit down and have a heart to heart, and we've actually went on now pay dates with the kids and everything now.
You know what
so
I
everything
think
is good.
It's because those are women, and they have too been hurt and lied to and manipulated by men, and ain't no telling how they may have reacted. So as a woman, you understand, and all you can do is forgive. You're like, honey, I understand. Maybe they would or wouldn't. Their mother probably might be crazier than you, honey. You never know. Don't let the grandma title fool you. Now I know some grandmas that are spitfires.
I know that's right, but it was just awful for a second, But I
sure
thank God for restoration in that.
Yes. So when you going off and said, that's why I put her number on Craigslist. So after that, you get a phone call, and this is the police department.
Shelby County Sheriff. So they called me. The sheriff called. Yes, they called. So they told me that they came down there. Him and her were together, and that they filed a police report for harassment.
Ooh.
And he didn't know if they was going to go forth with it or not, but he was going to give me a call back. And so I was like, well, of course, the gangster side of me died real fast. I didn't know about their life. I was just angry.
You're like, wait, I'm going to go to jail?
Right. Because I didn't think,
like, I'm not a thug.
I thought it was funny.
Right.
Right. At the time I was doing it, I thought it was funny. I thought, I'm going to get them whatever. When they said police, sheriff, jail, charges, I said, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean, I'm just angry. And he said, well, I'm going to give you a call back. They're supposed to come down here and give an affidavit.
Oh.
And so they did that. They went down there and pressed charges against me, him and her together.
They actually pressed charges as a couple. Okay.
It's a couple. It's harassment. But it was actually her statement that led to a warrant out for my arrest.
And so the sheriff called you back and said, hey, look, we got a warrant. You want us to pick you up? You need to come on, turn yourself in.
Well, this was actually a couple of days later. So, the weekend passed. This after the Thanksgiving holiday. So this actually, I'm going to work like the next week, and I was teaching at a school then.
Yeah.
And this how this went. yes, I was pulling up on the lot as getting ready to head to my class. And I get this phone call, and they say, yes, we're calling for so-and-so, so-and-so. It's her speaking. And they say, ma'am, we had a warrant out for your arrest.
Oh, my gosh.
I said I wasn't going to do it again, you know.
Too late. They say, talk to your lawyer. Don't.
Right.
Ooh.
And I cried and I cried and I cried. And you talking about the most embarrassing thing. I had to call in there and tell my boss that I can't come in. I have to go turn myself in. She said, what?
You told your boss that?
You know, I didn't have a choice to. You know, it's like.
Because you didn't know how long you would be away.
I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know how long I was going to be away. So I called a good friend of mine, and I'm in tears, you know, asking her to go pick my kid up from school. You know, I don't know when I'm going to be there. But let me tell you how God works, because, you know, even though I was acting a fool, one thing and I know that it's kind of contradictory, but one thing I never stopped doing, I would always tell God to help me with this hurt, because it was just overbearing for me.
Right.
And so even though I was acting a nut, I would pray, you know, extra direction, all this kind of crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you how it went. So I didn't have to get handcuffed or anything. I had to go down there and drive myself to the precinct and go get turned in. And I turned myself in.
Okay.
So I met this sheriff this police officer at the gas station, and I actually was able to ride in the front seat of the car without being handcuffed. And so let me just tell you how God was with me throughout this thing, you know, and that's when I began to see things for what it was. And on the way there, you know, he had me in the front seat of the car, and he put information in, and he was like, well, you know, I see you never been in trouble before. And he was like, you know what? He said, you know, this don't even seem like you. And he said, you're just angry. And he was like, just give it to God, baby girl. He was like, you know, take him to court, hit him in the pockets. That's what's going to hurt him. This comes from a man who didn't even know me.
Right. This is
but
the
I'm
officer
there,
saying,
right.
Look, lady.
Officer, right.
Right.
He said, you know, just give it to God, baby girl. You know, he said, but I'm going to do everything I can do today to make sure this process goes easy for you could go home.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm like, you know, this is a total stranger. He don't know anything about me. But
right.
I'm telling you that even with that, God was with me. So,
mm-hmm.
I go down there to get booked. Honey, you talking about, I like to be cute. That's what I'm saying. I'm really not about this life. And so I get there. I had my hair done. They made me take out my weave.
What?
I had to take off my bra. Yes, honey.
What? I didn't know they did all that.
Yes, honey. They like, you got in the bobby pins. I think I had my hair like up in the updo. I had to take my pin up down. I had to take my bra off. I had to take my shoes off.
No shoelaces.
Like,
I know that part.
God.
I saw that on Orange is the New Black. They take all your stuff. So wait, they took your weave out?
Honey, I had it pinned up, so I had to like take it down and the bottom pins down. I had just went and got my hair done like the week before.
So
honey, it was awful, honey.
So they had you looking a mess. So you had a mug shot looking a mess.
Yes.
So you got fingerprinted and handcuffed and all that?
I didn't get handcuffed, thank goodness, but I did get fingerprinted. So when I go up to the window, I don't know if you're familiar with the Just Busted magazine where they have the mugshots for the week in there.
Oh,
you know?
My goodness. So, let me explain to the audience. So basically, guys, in certain cities, there's this magazine. I know I've seen it here in New York. They have Just Busted down in Memphis, which is where Sassi is right now. But basically, it's where all the assailants or all the people that have been locked up and arrested, that's where they put everybody's mugshot. And, you know, we use it to laugh at. Like, oh, my God, did you see so-and-so in Just Busted this last weekend? You know, so that's what that is, guys. I'm sure you probably have it in your local city. Okay, go on, Sassi.
And so when I was getting booked, they told me to stand in front of this, in front of the backdrop or whatever.
With no weave, no makeup.
Right.
No bra.
And I turn around and I say, no bra, looking a hot mess.
Ooh.
And I turn around and say, am I going to be in Just Busted? They say, man, we don't know. They pick random people. You know, we pick random. We don't know. And go ahead and stand to the front and turn to the side. And so I was like, I took that picture. I mean, just in there I'm not going to say that. I was only in there for 4 hours. So I got to let go because I'd never been in trouble before. So they let me go. I just got booked, you know, and they let me go on my own recovery. But just being in there for 4 hours, I'm going to tell you what I saw. Somebody got pepper sprayed. Somebody got pepper sprayed while I was there. Somebody got a body person had my hair in a private part. Yes, they fed me a hot dog and juice. The lady next to me wanted to have my hot dog. I said, girl, you can have it. I just want to go home.
Right.
That was the worst 4 hours.
For your hot dog. Well, you know what? The Lord put it on your heart to give her your hot dog.
Yes. the worst 4 hours. I'm talking about having to call my friends to let me know what's going on. That was like awful. And when women come in there like it was normal, like, hey, officers, like they were repeat offenders. I'm like, it's not even me.
They know those officers by first name, but you were in there with some real criminals, like for real.
Right. Yeah. It was kind of like, what you here for? They were like, I robbed the bank. I don't know. I'm just,
Right.
And what you here for? I shot my boyfriend. They said, what you here for? I'm just harassing. They're like, harassment? My point.
Right. They're like, oh, harassment? You got a soft little charge. So once you got booked, you sat there for those 4 hours with those very interesting characters. You gave your hot dog away.
Oh, my God, it was awful.
And then, so then they let you out, and you had a court date after that, right? Is that how that goes?
Yes. Yes, we had a court date, and so...
how long after you got out was a court date?
It was probably 2. So what happened, we all ended up filing a restraining order against each other. It was all kind of crazy stuff. And so the young lady that took us to jail, we had the same petition. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, I got you. I'm going to get your paperwork in, and I'm going to go. So she really, worked me in and out the justice system, in and out of fast. And so when I got out, I got served with a restraining order. I had one against him.
Already
He
pending?
had one against me. That was all foul. Like, I got one the day for my warrant. I think there was another day after I got released from jail. They called me and said they wanted to serve me with papers or whatever.
Okay.
And so when I got served, serviced, he filed a restraining order against me, and she filed a restraining order against me. The week prior to that, I filed a restraining order against him. And so we all ended up with the same court date.
On what grounds did you file one against him? Like, was he harassing you, or were you mad?
Okay, so you remember that I told you the last meeting that I had with the pastor and wife, the counseling session?
Yes.
And we were sitting in there, and he admitted that he had bought a gun. That he got a gun.
Oh.
And that one day that he was actually riding around in a car with an open container of liquor, and he didn't want to kill me, but he just wanted to show me that he wasn't playing. And so at that time...
that is serious.
That is serious, yes. That was serious. And so at that time, I'll never forget, pastor and wife, their eyes got big, and it was at that time, they was like, we need to leave him alone, because,
this is a life and death issue.
This life and death right there. And so it was that time right there. And even though still it was kind of crazy. So it was on those grounds like that, and after everything happened or whatever, then I go down there and put a restraining order on there, after everything,
Gotcha.
got big. And so then she had with me. So we all had the same court date. And so we all standing down there to one Poplar, and we finally get called into the courtroom. And the judge say, well, Miss so-and-so, why are you here? And we all standing there in front of her looking like idiots in front of the judge. And I say, I was first, and she was standing next to me second, and he was down on the end down there. And she say, so why are you here? I said, well, Judge, I said, this is my husband's mistress right here in the middle, and that's my husband down there, on the end in court. And
you said that to the judge?
I said that in court, yes. And then she said, well, hold up, you don't have to say anything more. And so then she questioned the lady next to me, and so she went on and granted the restraining order against me from her, for like a year and 11 months and 29 days or whatever. I didn't have any dealings with her.
Right.
And then so it was him, and so she was dismissed from the courtroom, and she went outside and waited for him. And then it was me and his turn, and so I began to tell the judge, and what happened about the gun and everything, and she immediately went on and gave me granted a temporary restraining order where he couldn't have no contact with me for at least 3 months or so.
Now, did she work it out, with custodial agreement or something, or is she just
Well, at that time we were not divorced. We was actually still married at the time.
Oh, okay, that's right. Now, when you got the separation, was it a legal separation or
No.
Okay.
No.
Got it.
It was not legal. No, it was he just left the house.
Girl, hey, look, I understand. Right. Okay, so you got basically everybody's restraining orders were granted except for his.
Right.
Okay.
And so
oh my God. So
my restraining order against him, and the judge actually granted that, and she dismissed whatever he was trying to say.
Right. Because he's the man that caused all this mess. So
Right. And so once I said somebody gun or whatever, she was like, okay, she hit that gavel. and she's like petitioning order, and he can have no contact with me. And so when it's time to transfer kids, we would actually do it through family members.
So how long after that did the divorce proceed, or did somebody file for divorce? Because there was actually no divorce filed at that point, right?
No divorce filed at the time, but it was that day that we was in that courtroom, and I realized how stupid I look, fighting for somebody who evidently don't want me,
Yeah.
It was at that point, that is after fighting and all this and going to jail for those 4 hours, I was like,
Yo, you were a new woman after those 4 hours, honey. That's all it took,
yeah,
right?
Honey, I came out, honey. No new orange, new black for me, honey. I'm not about that life. I'm not doing any of that. I'm too for all this. I'm not going to go through that. And it was at that moment then I said that I'm going to go and file for divorce.
You filed for divorce.
It was too much and stuff.
So right directly after divorce, you went to file, and then you got y'all's court date. Was it contested or uncontested?
Well, that was November, and so I actually went to court for child support first, because in Shelby County, Tennessee, you have to have your parenting plan and court stuff already established.
Okay.
From what I was told, and so my attorney, she did my child support and she did my divorce as well. So I did child support first because that year or whatever he was gone, I wasn't getting anything at all.
Right.
And so she wanted to make sure that I was, getting some type of help. So we did the child support first. And then it was that February that I actually filed for divorce.
Okay.
And then he didn't want to sign it. You're right. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Wait now.
Yes.
So February, so this was all Thanksgiving 2013. So February 2014 you filed. He didn't, what you mean he didn't want to sign it? I don't understand. Clearly he was a single man.
Clearly he was single, and so I went through. I worked extra hours and everything I could do, trying to get on my feet. But my number one priority at the time was to get out this hell that I was in.
Right.
And so I hired me, so I had already hired the attorney. So I went back and I filed papers and did everything I needed to do. Did my parenting plan all through that time, whatever, and I had him serve it. And here, we filed for divorce. They have 30 days to respond or to get an attorney. Mm-hmm. He did neither one of them.
Oh.
He did not respond or he
But
did
he
not
was actually served because you paid a process server to go and make sure. Okay, so he was served, obviously.
He was served, because I made sure that he had the work address, the mama address, any address I know that he had.
Right.
He actually, he got service. And so I don't know if he was thinking that maybe if he didn't sign, that he was going to hold up the divorce proceeding. I hear people all the time say, well, she going to sign the papers. And this and that, that's a lie, honey. Because my attorney called me at the 30 days mark. Mm-hmm. She said, you want to go ahead and proceed with a default judgment. I said, I want you to go ahead and do whatever you have to do.
To get you out of it, right, to make it.
Right.
So at that point, he was already paying child support then, since.
He's paid, yes.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
Okay.
He was paying child support.
So since you were married for 10 years, were you able to get spousal support?
He didn't make enough for me to receive any of that.
Oh, okay. See, he got off really easy then. All he had to do was...
Right, he got off. Right, and so he got off really easy. No spouse support, anything. We didn't own a home or anything at that time. So, it was kind of like, only thing, the biggest thing was working out a parenting plan for the kids.
Right.
And child support. And so he didn't sign that. And so for people who don't know, so when we sign a default judgment, so if he doesn't respond, we still have another 30 days to respond to the default judgment. And if you do not respond, right, so if you do not respond, that means anything that's written up in the divorce decree,
that's it.
That's gonna be it or whatever. And so that's basically what happened. He never responded. He never did anything.
Wait. So does he even know he's divorced?
Honey, and so yes, and so on the day of my final divorce hearing, because if he would have showed up, we would have to go to trial, right? And so you tell me, honey, I was sitting in court, honey, nervous
waiting, like, please don't
nervous, like whatever. But my attorney told me that when everything was finalized, and I had my witness there, and she told me that he actually called the law office that day. And, she had called her and she said that he was calling the one to know was he divorced. He had left a message on her voicemail, but she said she never did respond.
He wanted to know if he was divorced?
Yes, he is. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Right.
Okay, that's odd.
Very interesting, yes.
So fast forward, because I know we are almost out of time here. So Where
Yes,
are you and your co-parent, your ex-husband now? Because you obviously we still have the most important thing, and it's the two children. So where are you
the
now?
children. Okay, so initially after the divorce, so the thing is now because he did not agree to any of the things in the divorce decree, that he feel in the beginning that he didn't have to agree to that because that's something that I did, that my attorney did, but he didn't have any say so in that.
He didn't take.
Yes,
He
honey.
didn't come to court
Right.
to defend
My
himself.
my point. And so it was a lot of that, with me trying to like go with the parenting plan that was in place. It will be a lot of conflict because I didn't agree to that. That's something that you did, so and so, so and so. I didn't agree to nothing to that or whatever.
Mhm.
It was like all kind of craziness or whatever. But today the parents, if he gets the kids on his assigned weekend,
Mhm.
he does do that. But as for the communication between me and him, it's like a -10 maybe.
Mm.
Um,
As opposed to a
I
negative
think
100 when y'all had the restraining order. So I guess that's
right,
better.
yes, right. But it is awful.
Let me ask you
I
this,
you know I,
Sassy. Has he just said, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything"?
well,
Has he said that?
so a year after the divorce, he was in a near fatal accident. He was in a head-on collision.
Oh.
Where he almost died.
Oh my
At
goodness.
that point, we hadn't talked in almost from the divorce until then. We still had no contact at all for like 6, 7, 8, 9 months or whatever. After that or
So he
whatever.
wasn't getting the kids
And
during that
so,
time either.
no, he was not getting the kids during that time.
Mhm.
It was actually February the 14th, 2014, that I get this phone call. No, 2015, I get this phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was from one of his friends, and told me that he'd been in a head-on collision, and that
Oh.
he was down at the county hospital, and they was calling family to come down there because they didn't think he was going to make it. Uh,
Oh.
yes, it was, and I actually worked at the hospital that he was at,
You were
and
you
stuff
were
happened.
working at the
Yes,
hospital that he was receiving care, or it could have been his final
this is
care.
the parent.
Oh.
Yes, and
So
so
then,
he
why
was
would
on
they
the
call
first
you? Did he
floor.
did he still have you listed as next of kin?
Well, because he asked them to call me. He asked the family and friends to call me. He wanted
Oh.
me there.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, even though we
Oh.
hadn't talked or whatever. And I don't know how much. He asked the family and so I called my dad, and he's like, "No, I don't want you going down there. You're the ex-wife, and I don't want you involved in it. What could be down there."
That's good
And
advice though.
so, just good advice. And so it was probably 3 weeks. Like literally, he was down in trauma on the first floor where I worked at. I was on the second floor working in surgery, and I worked for probably like 3 weeks until probably like 2 weeks before I finally went down and had the courage to go down there and see him. I said, let
Oof.
me go down here and see what's going on in
Right.
case he did die or something.
Right. You're like,
And
let
it
me
was
just
at
make my
that
peace with
time,
this man and just
right?
say a
Let me tell
final
you.
goodbye.
And it was
Right.
at that time, where he had broken ribs, punctured lungs, both his legs broken, both his ankles.
What?
Uh, Literally, yes, broken from his head to his toe.
His whole body
I
was
mean,
broken.
his whole body. He was wheelchair bound for months after that. Couldn't even walk. But it was
Oh.
at that time that I got the apology. He wanted to apologize to me for everything that he put me through, and and
Okay.
all that
I know
I
that's
felt
not
like
the
at
type
that
of
time was
vindication that
sincere.
you wanted. You didn't want to see him broken into pieces.
No, and so
Dang.
then it was that time that I feel like and then I should have kept it at that, and at that time because the emotion was going high and everything, and I started going down there every day at my lunchtime. I started,
Oh
even
Lord.
during my lunch hour.
Oh
Yes,
Lord,
yes,
you're
yes.
going to the room
Yeah,
every day. Oh.
yes, I'm going to the room every day, and I'm doing this, and I don't know what made I even prayed with him. I didn't want to see him hurt. After all he still was my kid's father. So
Right.
I would start going every day. Until the day I walked in there and saw the girl in there. And then it's like
Wait.
all
You
was
saw
like,
restraining order,
you
girl?
know
Oh, you saw
yes,
her.
so she was actually sitting, in the room when I went the last time.
Oh,
and,
she's
and it was
back.
yes, and so it was from that point on that it was like it went like downhill. It was like everything that we went through, whatever, at that time, like a band-aid had just been snatched off or whatever.
All the
And
wounds. So
so
the healing you thought you did, it wasn't quite
it
healed yet.
wasn't.
It was still kind of raw. So did
It's
you
just
say
kind of
something
off,
to
right?
her when you saw her sitting there?
Well, initially, when I walked into the room, I was like, oh, kind of got taken back a little bit. And I asked her, I said, do you mind stepping out for a minute? And he was like, he asked me, well, do you mind stepping out? And she did. And then we stood there and we talked for a minute, and he told me that she was just there helping, which just really wasn't my concern of mine. We weren't together at that time, but
Right. So let
he
me
just
wait.
told me that
Let's
she
say
was there
so.
helping out.
Backtrack a little bit. So those 2 3 weeks you were
Hmm.
going down there to visit. Was there like a spark or a reconciliation, or what was happening with you and him to where you would pop
I
off
think
when you
that
saw her?
I think it was probably the situation that he was in. That probably, I don't know, 'cause we were talking, and I felt like at that time like all the time I felt like I had to wait for closure, and
Right.
I felt like I finally had the closure that I wanted.
Uh
I
huh.
don't think I ever would have went back, but I felt like I felt like I got what I needed or
You
whatever,
got your apology,
and
and
then
he's sorry because
I
he
got
sitting there
my
broke up. He
apology,
looks sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay,
right,
so
and then right, then he get
sorry to
released from the
interrupt.
hospital. I'm
So
not
wait,
that he
wait. So
got,
she
I
steps
saw
back
that.
into the room, and
I go
um,
back to work. I go back to my unit.
and you were
I go
calm.
back
So
to my
what
unit.
was he saying to you? He's like, "Hey, look, it's not we're not together
It's
anymore."
nothing, I would just, she just here as my friend, to help me if I be scared here at night by myself, blah, 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 this and that, whatever. And so then, even though I went down, I still had a lot of questions, why this happened. Because I never got any answers,
Right.
so while he was sitting there broken up in the bed, this is my time to ask, 21
Because he
questions,
cannot move, he
why
can't
this
go nowhere.
happened.
He
Right.
shouldn't lie. I'm like, don't lie, because
Right.
you might be about to meet your maker, so you don't want to lie.
And, and right, and so it was
You
like,
had
and
him in a
so
good
then,
position.
and then it was like the movie with a diver, a mad black woman. He's like, I'm kind of scared for you to be in here me by myself. I think it's the movie when she pushed him up
Yep,
in the club,
I
told him he's a
remember.
wheelchair
Yep.
or whatever.
Right. Oh,
And that was basically,
that's
our
exactly what
situation or
happened to
whatever.
you.
Yes, honey. Yes, that was like my life, like the year before. And so, but I don't know what happened after that. And then I end up being this whole emotional thing again with him, with the answers and everything. And it's like it just went downhill from there. I don't know what happened, but
Communication
um,
ended. Right. So did he go
communication
on?
ended.
Did whatever happened to old girl? Like, did she still
Honey,
around?
child, it's been like, honey, she was space number one.
Oh,
And so then there's been 2, 3, 4, 5, but after then I stopped counting because it was no longer, any concern of mine.
right.
We both moved on now. He actually has another child now, moved on, and so
Okay.
but she was just face number one.
She was, but
it was like
what?
many faces.
She was the last straw for you, though. Like that whole
Right.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
You said because you're risking your freedom. Well, Sassy, you know what? We're gonna end this, and I want you to give some words of encouragement to the woman that's sitting there listening to this right now, who is where you were 4 years ago when you never thought you would make it. Just give her something to hold on to let her know it's going to be okay.
I just want you to know that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. I was in a very, very dark place, and the word that kept coming to me was to let go and let God. At that time, I was so hurt and so broken, I did not know how to let go. But when I finally did, I realized that this thing was way bigger than me. So I just want you to just look deep into yourself, and if you're a spiritual person, just seek God and ask Him for direction. And when He gives you direction, to take heed to it, and it will help you avoid all the bumps in the road along the way. Even though my trial was awful, and yes, I was hurt, and He did things to me that I felt were just not right. God knew about the hurt or whatever, but I think I prolonged my process of me constantly digging my hand into it. So I just want to tell you to just take your hands off of it and let God do what He's going to do in the situation. And I think if I would have done that, a lot of things I could avoid a lot of anguish and a lot of embarrassment, a lot of humiliation along the way. If I would just let go and let God.
Ooh-wee. Thank you, Evangelist Sassi.
And so I just want to tell you to keep your head up, and it's going to get better.
It will get better. Yes, well, all right, Blended in Black. I thank you guys so much. I know you got a lot out of this. Miss Sassi, I want to thank you. We all thank you, all the listeners, so thank you so much for coming on the show. Blended in Black, this is Naja Hall, your host. I am signing out, and remember to sign on and subscribe to the newsletter on blendedandblack.com. That's where you get all the updates for the podcast, social media, everything that's going on in the group, all of our tours, everything that we're doing. And look at us, look us up online, hashtag Blended in Black or at Blended in Black. We are everywhere. You guys have a great week. Be beautiful. And remember, let's stay blended.
We're blended in black, yeah. And this who we choose to be our family. Blended in black, yeah. Never perfect, but it's worth it. We're blended in black, yeah. Every day, every way. Blended in black, we're blended in black. We're blended in black, yeah. We're blended in black, yeah. And this who we choose to be our family. Blended in black, yeah. Perfect, but it's worth it. We're blended in black, yeah. Every day, every way. Blended in black, we're blended in black. We're blended in black, we're blended in black, yeah. We are blending, we are blending.